Welcome back, everyone, to episode 48 of Against the Call. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm joined by my co-host, Michael. We need to say that more often, who we are, because we rarely ever say that. But you guys know us by now, obviously. But today, as you can tell by the title, VictionaryHD is joining us again. But before we get to him, let's just go over a few things we're going to be talking about with Vic. Number one being the NFL post-draft and free agency thoughts with Vic. We're going to have our way too early playoff prediction, our way too early NFL coach of the year, and also we're going to be talking about around the league, NBA playoffs, and news. In parentheses on my script, the Wemby draft sweepstakes happened. So after that, obviously, we'll go into our post game, but now let's hear from our interview with Vic. Let's get to Victionary HD. It's been a minute since he's been on, but he did owe us two, and he's coming back for the second one. He's ready to get it. And yeah, Vic, how's your day going?
As promised, like I said, I owed the boys another one. I forget what happened, but I had to keep the promise, come back for another one. And it's kind of good because, it's post-draft talk, kind of an NBA Finals-ish time. It's not the finals, but it's college finals. I am very excited for a lot of players that aren't even on my team for the NFL. So we can talk about that going forward. And yeah, just happy to, chop it up with the guys again,
Oh, yeah, for sure. But before we get into all this stuff, what was up with that clip? Like, we got to talk about this clip that was posted. Like, the guy, it looked like you were on offense, but you were on defense so was it the quarterback's fault or was it the dude's fault? Like, I commented about it, you responded, but like, it's wild. Like, I gotta know.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what clip you were talking about at first, and I was like, wait, what clip got posted that? I don't know. I was because. A lot of things get posted. I don't really check it, or I don't really care about it. Like, if it's a funny post about me, I post it. If it's cringe, I don't care. So when you said it, I was like, did somebody make a post or a review about me that I didn't see? But no, the football was we were doing 101s for a YouTube video. All the Madden guys came out here to Vegas. It was me and Zerk in the 101. And I guess Zerk was running a stop route. I don't know what it was. He was running like a run because we were playing it to the point to where at first it was like 5 yards to the end zone. And I was like, that doesn't really give you any room to work with.
Yeah.
Because if you're a DB, he can only run 5 yards. So he can just sit on everything. It's just, it's easy. So I was like, let's back it up to like 15, 20. So we actually have to run and, do things. And so I was like, all right, bet. So it was super windy, though. It was super windy, by the way, too. So I will give the quarterback a little slack for that one. But I don't know what's there. He was running like a stop route or something. And I was just sitting back because I'm like, you're not going to head top me. You're not going to head top me. And you have to score a touchdown. So I'm like, I could press you, but there's no timer on the clock. So there's no point in pressing. There's no timer on the QB clock. So I'm like, if I press you and pushed you back, and in the backfield, you're just gonna run out of bounds and come back. I was like, it wasn't like official 1v1s; it was just for fun. Mm-hmm. So he just ran a stop route because I was just sitting. I was like, all right, I just basically
because you didn't even move.
Inside. Yeah, so I just forced him to go back inside, and I'm just like sidestepping, backstepping, backpedaling, and I'm looking at the quarterback. Like, I really think I'm good in zone. Like, man is good, but zone is so much easier, especially in ones where and we're not like the best receivers, corners, whatever. So we're just playing. But eventually I will be, though. Just give me 6 months of training and I'll be all right. But so I turn my body to where I'm looking at the quarterback and Zerk. So I'm just watching, and I see Skoma throwing the ball, and I'm like, where are you throwing this to? And I'm just looking at Zerk, and Zerk is still running, and I'm like, yeah, this is a stop route. So I just literally stopped. And I caught the ball, and I'm looking like the ball is right here. I don't know. It was just a miscommunication. I don't know what it was.
No, that'd be.
But I was just like, "You're stopping at the goal line, okay?" So it was just one of those moments where I just caught it, and naturally I just looked at him like, I don't know. It was just a natural.
Yeah. Made for a good clip.
Yeah, but it was just like, come on. It was on.
I mean, everybody in the comment section was like, "Come on, bro! Like, what was that?" Like,
I don't know, bro. I don't know what route little bro was running, but you gotta get better. You gotta get better.
Nick sent that to me. He was like, "Can you tell me what's going on? I'm kind of confused."
Dog. The best part about it is some of us played football growing up,
Yeah.
I'm one of them, but none of us like actively play football right now. So that's why it was fun because everybody had the same kind of playing field when it came to technique. And then after that, it was just who's more athletic.
Yeah.
And that's was the fun part. Because I didn't think Zerk was anywhere near athletic as he was. He surprised me a lot.
Okay.
He surprised me a lot. He's faster than he looks. He is a lot more athletic than he looks. He can't punt, kick, or throw the football, but everything else he's pretty decent, good at. So
Give me a mic out there so we can smoke some of y'all.
Listen, I kind of do a lot of spoilers on the show, so people who are watching, I'm doing like a bigger event. I'm gonna try to get all the Madden guys out here whenever Madden releases. Get a big house and then just send any invitations out there like that, and then hopefully we get a big backyard, so we can do like a 7-on-7. So
that's sick. That's gonna be fire.
Like I said, it's a lot of spoilers and a lot of leaks on this one. So
whoever tunes in, you're welcome.
Don't take my idea. Whoever does it, don't take my idea. You heard it here first on May 7th. You know what I'm saying? May. Don't take my idea. So it worked. No, it was fun having all the guys out here. Though. It was fun.
Yeah, I bet. Well, let's just jump right into the actual discussion now. The NFL draft kind of recap, and we just want to hear some of your thoughts. I mean, one of the first names that comes to mind, let's start with the first pick, Bryce Young. Like, that was definitely the biggest headline of them all. If CJ Stroud was going to get picked, if it was going to be Bryce Young, ended up being Bryce Young. Do you think it's a good fit for him on the Panthers?
Yeah, I mean, but where else do you go? Honestly, like you can go CJ Stroud because he looks more of the QB-ish type.
Yeah.
But Bryce Young is also the most calm, cool, collected guy that's been in the biggest moments at Alabama against the toughest competition. Whereas, no shade to Ohio State, but they play Michigan State. Who else do they play that's like a big? Because they're in the what conference are they in? I forget.
Who? Bryce Young?
Ohio State.
Oh, Ohio State. They're in the Big Ten.
So Big Ten has
Penn
how many
State.
competitive teams?
Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. That's literally it.
That's what I'm saying. And you look at the SEC, you have Georgia, Bama, Florida. But the AR-15 was, decentish. You still got Texas A&M, pretty solid. Got LSU. Like it's actual
Tennessee.
like that's Tennessee. Definitely forgot about Hendon Hooker too. And they definitely didn't they beat Bama last year?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like it's way more comp in the SEC. So I'm like, honestly, if the Panthers want to take the kind of more proven guy, like I think to put it like this, I think CJ Stroud's ceiling is higher, but Bryce Young's floor is way higher. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
you know what you get with Bryce Young. Whereas CJ Stroud can be below average or he can be next best thing. Bryce Young is going to be good to great. Like it's already expected.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud is like, it's like
yeah.
He's like a face card, but not an ace. Like if that makes sense. Like he's not like the 100%. Like I don't know. That's the only way I could put it. Like he's like that face card, but not like the ace of the draft, which was Bryce Young. So and then you also got AR-15.
Yeah.
Who I think his floor is a little bit lower than CJ Stroud's, but the ceiling is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's Cam Newton-ish, if not higher, because I think he can throw the ball a little bit better than Cam. I don't think he can run as good as Cam though. So it's like he's more of the quarterback, ish. I guess the more quarterback-ish. But
do you see him being compared to like Lamar?
Unfortunately, yeah, because he runs a lot. That's it. If you run at all, you're getting compared to Lamar. Just like Lamar was compared to Cam, and then Cam was compared to Vic, and like it's just if you run the ball and you're a quarterback and you're black, you're just going to compare it to the black quarterbacks that ran. Even though Ryan Tannehill was a scrambler, Marcus Mariota was a scrambler. Who else?
Josh Allen's kind of a scrambler.
Josh Allen is literally Cam Newton. He doesn't get compared to Cam. I mean, he throws the ball a lot better, but as far as running, he just runs into people. But he doesn't get compared to any of the Cams and all this stuff unless you talk to logical people. But I understand the comparisons, but I don't always like them because you kind of set in your head what they're going to be. And then I'm not saying that's going to affect his, career, but he's going to get comparisons like that.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, almost every interview. Every stat that he beats is, okay, well, Michael Vick did this in 8 games. AR did this in 7. Like, it's just, it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in, so I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, with the Bryce Young, Bryce Stroud. Wow, that's crazy.
That would be a crazy quarterback.
Well, I wanted to ask you about CJ Stroud and his IQ.
Yeah.
And what you thought about that.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like it's you can use it, but to a certain extent, it's how you play. Like, I get it, the IQ, this is not, but it's a lot of dogs that are dumb. But a lot of people don't like. I honestly I hated tests. So if I had to take a test, like an IQ score test, I probably wouldn't do good.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean I wasn't good in school. Like, I had the 3.7, 3.8, 3.5. Like, I had that my entire life. But I just never did good on tests. It was just the fact of you have to get this right, or you get I've never been a good test taker. So maybe he just wasn't a good test taker.
Yeah, I feel that. We talked about this on the podcast too whenever it was brought up, and I was like, well, you can't compare that to anybody, because at the same time, CJ Stroud took Georgia to the wire, and they would have won if they just would have kicked the field goal right. That was all in the kicker.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud's still a tremendous quarterback, and
Oh, yeah.
like you mentioned before, the ceilings and floors, I think every single quarterback in this draft class has the highest ceiling and the lowest of low floors, like for every single quarterback on this entire draft class. Especially guys like Hendon Hooker. I think that he could be the next best thing, or he could be just another Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, it's just, I think only because he's older, that's why he didn't get taken earlier. Because I'm sorry. There's no reason I'm taking Will Levis over Hendon Hooker, who's proven it in the SEC and had one of the craziest years, even though it was 1 year. Like, Will Levis is like this big, he looked physical, like crazy, right? I haven't seen one game, and I'm not like the film watcher and like go dissect every single. I'm just like does he stick out? Does he make plays? And then I'll go and watch, more games and more stuff like that. But Hendon Hooker, when I was watching him last year, I'm like, bro, dude's nice. I mean, he had a great receiving core as well, but so does Bama, so does Ohio State, so does a lot of the top schools.
Yeah.
So they try to use that against him. I'm like, CJ Stroud's thrown to the number 1 overall pick possibly next year. He also had JSN as well.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. And then CJ Stroud had who do you have this year? I can't think of it.
Yeah, like Marvin Harrison Jr.
I mean, I'm sorry, Bryce Young.
Oh, Bryce Young.
Because I know he had Jahmyr Gibbs.
The
year before, though, who did he have?
He had Mechie, I think.
I feel bad for Mechie, but he's gonna be nice too. But you have to have a solid receiver. That's why I kind of hate when people compare quarterbacks that have great receivers to some that don't. I'm like, you got to kind of even the playing field. But Hendon Hooker, I think, is going to be super solid for like 4 years. I hope he gets the chance to play at a high level, because I know he had like a knee injury. It's just Will Levis, bro. He puts mayo in his coffee, bro. Like, how are you trying to stick out that much that you do that weird of a thing? Like, sometimes people just do it for attention. Like, I don't know.
You think eating a banana with a peel on was like for attention?
Yes.
The mayonnaise and the coffee.
Like, dude, I don't know. It's just weird stuff. It's called engagement for me, honestly. That's what he's doing, bro. It's just not. It's not logical. Like, who eats a banana peel?
I don't know.
Well,
that's just not.
Yeah, Will Levis is like the only guy that you can put out there.
If
but
I
the
ever
Will
meet
Levis and Hendon Hooker thing, like, that has a lot of Titans fans just pissed at the fact that they picked him over Hendon Hooker. And I mean, I'm with them. My family being from Tennessee and all that stuff, they're big Titans fans, and I'm with them for sure. I mean, Hendon Hooker has proven himself over Will Levis literally just this last season. 44-6 was the score of the Tennessee-Kentucky game.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, and then I feel like you kind of drafted similar quarterbacks with Malik Willis as Will Levis because they both are very raw. Like you just drafted two raw quarterbacks. At least Hendon Hooker can throw the ball and make those tight throws, but he also can throw for 500 yards a game. Like I don't see Malik Willis or Will Levis throwing for 3, 4, 500 yards a game. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take that L. But I just I didn't see how they. And then you think about it. He went to Tennessee. You draft this guy that's already played in Tennessee. You could possibly get some volunteer fans to come over to the Titans fan. I'm sorry.
Now he's in
Didn't make
Detroit.
sense, bro.
Speaking of Detroit, in my opinion, I don't think they had a great draft drafting Jahmyr Gibbs pretty early, in my opinion.
See, I think they did. It just didn't. It's just not where I would have picked them.
Yeah,
I think they got some solid players at every single draft spot. It was just they also reached for them a little bit,
yeah.
Like,
They had like
that's
DeAndre
the
Swift at the
thing.
time too.
Yeah, but I mean, I knew he was gone. Like
Yeah.
once they signed David Montgomery, I'm like, yeah, he's gone. He's gone. And so now they got David and Jahmyr, and I'm like, that's a solid running back room. Just saying.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
you got one person that can run the ball 25 times. You got the other person that can catch it 15 times. Like, and I thought Jahmyr Gibbs was the best running back in the draft. I'm sorry. Like I know
Really?
Bijan Robinson's in there. I know Zach Charbonnet's in there. But I think Jahmyr is gonna last the longest as well as have the better years. Because he avoids contact, but he's not scared of it.
Yeah,
Like Bijan's a dog. Don't get me wrong. I want the Chargers to get him because he's that every down back, and I want him to help Eckler. So it's like a nice little punch. He can do everything. I just think Gibbs. I don't know, man. He just reminds me too much of Alvin Kamara. Like just really, really good at staying up, but not getting hit and injured. Like he just.
Yep.
That's my hot take of the season. That's my hot take of their careers. I think Jahmyr Gibbs would be better than Bijan.
do you think Bijan was taken too early as well?
Yeah, you never a running back. It wasn't he. What was he? 8?
Yeah, 8.
No, I'm not taking a running back in the first round. I'm sorry. No, that's why. No, no. They could have got a receiver. I would have rather them took a receiver to go with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. But
they could have gotten any receiver.
No, they could have. If they would have got JSN, come on now. Listen, you got Algier, Desmond Ridder, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, JSN. I'm not saying that they're going to do things, but that's 3 to 4 solid weapons. Like
And they're all young.
solid weapons. Yeah.
And
Listen,
none
they
of those
dropped
weapons will get used with Desmond Ridder.
but then at that point, that's not your quarterback. So at that point, he's gone.
Yeah. No.
So-
Now, who do you think would be a good quarterback for the Falcons?
I don't even honestly know.
Top of your head.
Dog.
Because they need something. I mean, they're gonna get him in like the next. They're getting their next quarterback in the draft.
Next year, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought they were going to try to get AR-15, but obviously it was taken. I don't know because I don't know what they're. I watched the Falcons, but I don't watch them like heavily, so I don't even know how their offense looked last year, other than when they played us.
Yeah.
But everybody just runs the ball against us, so that's not saying much. Because you got to think about it. They went from Michael Vick. I'm saying like big quarterbacks. They went from Michael Vick to Matt Ryan. That's like a complete offensive change. So I don't know. I don't even know. I couldn't even say who their head coach was, honestly. Who's their
During
head
Matt
coach?
Ryan Super Bowl, it was the dude who's the Cowboys defense coordinator. Forgot his name. He's a white dude.
Gus Brett. No. I know you're talking about. The guy. Yeah.
Yeah, with the like goatee. It's with a goatee. Oh,
Yes.
Dan Quinn.
Dan
That's
Quinn.
it.
Dan Quinn. There we go.
That's-
There we go.
Yeah, that was he's actually a good coach. I don't mind Dan Quinn. Now the
I
guy
think
that
he's
they got
yeah.
coaching the Falcons now, the Arthur guy, I don't think he's legit.
Arthur Smith. Yeah. The only reason I know about that is because of Madden, to be honest with you.
Do you think the Falcons have a chance for Caleb Williams next year?
I think they have to go for Caleb. If you don't go for Caleb, honestly, I think next year's quarterback class could be very surprising. It just depends on how much more better Caleb looks, as well as Spencer Rattler. Because I was watching some videos, he's just scrolling, and he seems a lot more mature now. Spencer Rattler, because I remember when he first came in, he was just, I didn't like him because he was like me. He was a meathead. He was like, "Oh, I deserve this. I'm the best." I was like, "Bro, that was in high school. I was in high school. Yeah. A lot of people in high school play football just to play football. People who go to college, it's another thing. They play football also because they just enjoy it. So you might, but you got some people trying to go to the league as well. So those are the best players. In the NFL, everybody's there to get paid. So I'm like, there's levels to it. So just be humble. And it seems like he got hit with a little humble bug, and he came around. I think he came around. So I think Spencer would be good. Caleb Williams, those are my top 2 quarterbacks that I could think of.
What about Drake May? You think he's legit?
I will have to watch him again this season.
Yeah, you got to see another season.
I just got to see one more.
What did he come? 6th or 7th last year in Heisman voting? So not
bad at all. Not bad at all. But I think we'll see next year, because even Spencer Rattler turned it around last year with South Carolina, and I was pretty surprised. I mean, they didn't do the best, but he looked way better than he did at Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
It was solid.
Like last year, it was all just like maybe Spencer Rattler was kind of Heisman material. That's like where the conversation switched.
Yeah, it was that he got real humble about it. He wasn't in the media and talking about it. It's like I was just like, dude, you're good, but you're not like Tim Tebow, Florida good. You're not Argentine Baylor good. At least not yet.
Yeah,
you're not Johnny Manziel A&M good. Like, and even we know how that turned out in the league. Like each one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just so I think Spencer he'll do better next year. Hopefully, he just stays humble. That's my only thing.
Yeah,
I think he will.
I think he could. Yeah,
Beamer ball. All right, go ahead.
But what I wanted to ask you was, you're a Chargers fan. How do you feel about Quentin Johnson?
Oh yeah.
So initially, I wanted us to get Jordan Addison or JSN, only because JSN would be a successor to Keenan. Like, they're slot guys. They're not the fastest, but JSN's a lot younger. But JSN could take a slant to the house. That's my biggest problem with the Chargers the past 5 years. We haven't had a receiver that can take a slant 80 yards. Like, I'm not saying do it every time, but just a receiver that can possibly take a slant, break a tackle, go 60, 40, whatever, how many yards for a touchdown. Mike Williams is the closest we have to that. But he's really just, the best jump ball receiver in the league. Solid route runner, pretty great route runner. Honestly, he's gotten way better than I thought. Because coming out of Clemson, I was just like, bro, this dude's just going to be jump ball. And then, Keenan taught him some stuff, I'm assuming. And then look at him now. He can run routes with some of the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hoping that we got JSN, because in my mind, I was thinking like Mike Williams on the outside, Palmer on the outside, Keenan slot, JSN slot, and then either Eckler in the backfield or something like that. And I'm like, at that point, who do you double? Do you double Mike Williams over top? Do you double, Keenan in the slot? Do you double JSN in the slot? Regardless, somebody's getting a one-on-one. That was where my mind was with that.
Yeah.
So now we did Quentin Johnson. I didn't watch a lot of TCU football this year. But I went back and started watching it whenever they had played in their championship game, and Max Duggan went crazy. And I was like, yo, Max Duggan kind of a dog. And it's crazy the Chargers after Max Duggan too. I don't know what they're doing with that. But I was watching after that game, I was like, yo, this Max Duggan dude is a dog. So I went back and watched it, and I'm like, who is this receiver? I was like, Quentin Johnston. Okay, so he's solid. But I still wanted Addison and JSN because they take those slants 80 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen Jordan Addison, I hadn't seen Quentin Johnson do that. I'm not saying he can't. Maybe the offense wasn't meant for him to do that. So that's what I'm saying. But I wanted them to before, and I was just like, JSN got taken right before us. And I was like, so we're going to go Quentin Johnston. because they didn't it was some knock on Jordan Addison, like he was too small or something. I think like he didn't weigh enough or something. I'm like, I mean, look at Devonta Smith. So dude gets hit more than a lot of guys and he just gets right back up. But them routes are still crispy. So I was like, that shouldn't even matter anymore, especially with all the protection now in the hits and all that stuff. They can't even hit you like they want to. But then I went back and I was like I think like 30, 45 minutes to an hour later, I went back. I ain't gonna lie, I was mad. Only because JSN was taking run. I really wanted JSN. And then I was like, man, I knew it. I was like, this dude, man, Quentin Johnson ain't him. This is not. I was talking crazy. And then I was like, let me go see. Let me go watch him again. Let me go just do a double take. And believe it or not, he's fast. He's 6'4" and fast. And everybody's like, he's Mike Williams. And I'm like, he's not Mike Williams. He's just tall like Mike Williams, but he's not jump ball Mike Williams, because Mike Williams just goes up, doesn't care about his health, catches the ball, falls, and unfortunately gets hurt a lot of those times because he doesn't like brace for it. He just jumps, falls, and then, leg back, ankle, whatever. But I'm like, maybe Quentin Johnston can be that guy that gets those one-on-ones, because he won't see the cornerback number one, and he won't see the slot cornerback. So he'll get CB2 or CB4, or I put up 3 before. So I'm like, he'll get those one-on-ones, and most of the time they'll shade over to Mike Williams because he's proven it already. So I'm like, maybe Quentin Johnston can eat in this offense. So I came around to it, and I kind of like the pick. And he's our number one, which is cold. I'm not going to lie. It's cold. For a receiver to win number one is hard. Like, he can't not be good now. Like, he would have chose like 4, 5, 7. I would have been like, all right, yeah, he's not going to be that good. But one,
he's got to be legit.
You got to be nice.
Maybe they're taking Herbo out to put in Duggan to throw to him.
Dog, hell, bro, if the day if they don't get Herbert his contract like they're supposed to, and they let him go somewhere else, I think that's the day I'm like, yeah, it's wraps on being a Chargers fan, because you can't let even though Herbert hasn't won a playoff game yet, which is also a team stat, but that's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother day. He still gets you there in some of the weirdest ways, because last season his number one receiver for like half the year was Josh Palmer, and then after that it was DeAndre Carter. Like, he's worked with some of the, I'm not saying they're bad at all. I mean, they're better than what I could ever do. I'm not gonna say ever, but they're better than what I can do right now. So, but they're not the best receivers in the league. They're like middle of the pack. So
yeah.
Wide receiver 3s and 4s, like,
bro, yeah, like, so you can't let a guy like that walk out at all. So they swap out Dugan for Herbert. I'm dipping. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm dipping ASAP, bro.
The new red rifle? Maybe
dog. No. I mean, Dugan is a dog. Don't get me wrong. I like the little, it's a solid pick. But they brought like 3 TCU guys in. They brought Dugan, Darius Davis, I want to say, the really, really, really fast dude, and then Quentin Johnston. So I'm like,
yeah,
okay, cool. I guess.
Literally, like, all of TCU's offense came to the Chargers.
Literally. One's a kick returner, one's a receiver, and the other one's just, I don't know, Herbert's backup.
Yeah, backup.
Yeah. I mean, as for like the NFL draft class, I mean, we could come back to anything that comes up, but I did want to ask you about just the Chargers season in general next season. Especially they dropped that whole like anime video, and they got the little QR code for the Raiders fans. Did you see that?
Bro, it's honestly Super Bowl or bust. You have a quarterback on a rookie deal. We've seen it. Once you pay the quarterback, you have to start chipping away at other pieces. Like the Eagles just paid Jalen Hurts. And I remember I got into an argument one day. They was like, oh yeah, we're about to sign Derrick Henry too and Trey. I'm like, if it happens, you have to give up somebody. Like, it just is what it is. But you get a quarterback on a rookie deal, you gotta at least make the bowl, or at least make an AFC championship. Give us hope. Give us something,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Super Bowl or bust, realistically. And I'm not being overly dramatic and no, it's Super Bowl or bust, bro. It's
Got to get past those Jags.
dog, unbelievable.
That was crazy. Did we talk about that last time you were on? I think we did. I just can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember if we talked.
I don't. Nah, yeah. Because it was. It's just that game, bro. You can tell that it was that game came down to a little bit of coaching as well as Herbert. Herbert was conservative, but our entire offense that entire season has been conservative. It's just been stick routes. It's been go balls, stick routes. That's it. Like if you look back at it, that's all we kind of did. We couldn't run the ball that game at all. I think Eckler had 20 yards.
Yeah, it was
something
like
that.
It was terrible. So I'm like, you can't even milk the clock if you wanted to because you can't run the ball. At that point, you might as well just throw 3 screens and see where that gets you. So I was like, you can tell that Brandon Staley is a good coach, but he's not like he's like an X's and O's guy. Like he's a brilliant, I think he's a amazing defensive coordinator. I don't think he's an amazing head coach. If that makes sense. Like some guys are just better when they focus on one side of the ball rather than trying to manage a game and do this and roster changes and like everything. I don't know. Because you look at the Rams when they had Staley, they were a great defense. He left, they became a mid defense. We're decent-ish, but that jump from defensive to head coach, and I think he just got outcoached in the second half because we were playing man, and I guess they were expecting us to play zone in the first half, and that's when Trevor was throwing all the picks. Because we usually just sit back and zone. Sometimes we play man, but sometimes it's mostly zone. And then I remember Asante got that like cover 2 pick, so they just kept mixing it up. And then that second half,
collapse.
Doug Peterson was whoever was that offensive mind behind that entire scheme was dialing up just straight dots, bro. Like just straight dots. And it was just all busted coverages. It was all it was.
Yeah.
So I think Staley is a solid coach. I just don't think I'm sorry. He just reminds me of Kirk Cousins. Like I'm not getting motivated by him. Like you're like, let's go, Gus. I'm like, come on.
Do you think that he has one more year for you and you want him gone?
I thought we were getting Sean Payton this year, honestly. I really wanted Sean Payton. Like if we could have traded this, because what did the Broncos trade for Sean? If I'm not mistaken.
Lots.
They had like I know there was 2 picks involved. I think they were like a second and third rounder.
So yeah, I wouldn't have minded trading those for Sean Payton, only because Sean Payton's proven and he's also somebody you can get behind.
Yeah, they traded a first round pick, a second round pick in exchange for Payton and a third round pick.
Okay.
See, that's a lot. Like okay, so a good example, right, is like Dan Campbell. I don't think Dan Campbell was like the best X's and O's coach, but I'm running through a wall for that dude, and then we'll figure it out once we run through the wall. Just like that. That's how that is. Whereas the other, the flip side is Brandon Staley, who's really smart, but it's like, it's gotcha, coach.
Yeah, exactly. So where do you see the Chargers being in the AFC West next season?
Oh, second. Everybody's gonna put us above the Chiefs. Everybody's gonna dog. No.
Really?
No.
They're putting you above the Chiefs? Who is?
No, I'm saying all the media does it every year. They're like, "Oh, this is the Chargers year. The Chargers are going to do this. They're going to do that." And I'm like, "Why are y'all doing this?"
All right, that makes sense.
I'd be surprised if we won the West within the next like 3 to 4 years, realistically, because the Chiefs aren't going anywhere. They're. Whenever we played them, and I went to that game, bro, it is so loud in there. I walked away and my head was ringing the next day. Like it was that loud. And I'm like, imagine trying to call plays and play and get a hit. Like it's just no. So that's 8 games right there that they'll probably win 6 or 7 of at home, just as is, in my opinion. And then they'll go on the road and beat, the Cardinals and the Texans of the world and Browns and like that. So I think they're going to win probably another 13, 14 games.
Yeah, I can definitely
Whereas I think we'll win like 11, 10, somewhere around there. So
I think the Chargers could. They have the team, like the players, to go to the bowl.
Every year it's the same.
It's just that it's just always good.
Always good. Look at J.C. Jackson. Joey Bosa got hurt. Corey Linsley got hurt. Rashawn Slater got hurt. Keenan got hurt. Mike Williams got hurt. Like it's every year.
It's bad luck every year.
Yeah, and like even with that, they still make the playoffs. So it's like
the biggest thing that I was surprised with Herbert this year was having a new left tackle. That is very impressive to still get those calls. I'm sure it's the O-line as well, but to have a new left tackle and a new center, and then 3 new receivers, or not 3, 2. Because it was, I guess Palmer, that's not really a new receiver.
Yeah.
But DeAndre Carter. But after that, you can't name the wide receiver number 3, 4, and 5. Like you can't name it. Don Parham got hurt last year. I don't even know why I wouldn't be playing football. I'm sorry. But he still has it in him, so he got that dog in him. He's better than me. I couldn't do it. So it's like I see us winning like 10 games, bro.
I can see that 10 to 11 games.
Yeah, it's because you got to think about it. Chiefs twice, probably split with the Raiders because somehow, someway, we always split with the Raiders, and we either split with the Broncos, lose to them twice, or beat them twice. That's the only one that's always up in the air. Mm-hmm. But we always usually split with the Raiders. There's been a few times we beat them both, but we'll usually split with the Raiders, maybe split with the Chiefs. If we don't split with them, we'll lose both of those. Mm-hmm. And then the Broncos is up in the air. And then other than that, you got 11 other games.
Yeah. Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good signing for the Raiders?
Nope. I forgot they do got Jimmy G. We're beating them both times. We're beating them both times. Like, dog, I saw something yesterday, and Devontae Adams was like, me and we're not seeing eye to eye. And I was like, yes. Yes, y'all lose Devontae. Y'all already don't like Josh Jacobs. Oh, y'all are gonna be so bad, bro. I can't. And I live here. Oh, I cannot wait to troll them, bro. Oh, I can't wait till week 1.
Raiders just can't catch a break when it all started with
I don't want them to ever catch a break. I want them to be garbage for the next 50 years. Just be mid the entire 50 years of my life that I have left.
I think that's like extremely possible, but
yeah, very.
With Derek Carr, he's left your division. How well do you see him doing on the Saints?
Way better. Okay. Now that he's gone, I can be more realistic about him. I think he's a solid quarterback. He's not like he's like above average. He's in that Kirk Cousins ish tier of like you put him on a better team, he'll do better. You keep him on a mid team, he'll be mid. I just think he was scared. Like, not scared. I just think he was trying to save face with the Raiders. Like, he just took all he has, like this big iron shield, and just like, yes, we're going to figure it out. We're going to do this. And I'm just like, dude, I would just call him out on their shit. Honestly. Like, yo, y'all need to give me some help. You need to give me this. You need to give me that. Stop drafting these dudes that's, doing crazy stuff outside. Like, come on. Like, and we're in Vegas. Like, Vegas, I think that was a smart move, but a dumb move for the players. Like, it's just so much dumb stuff to do. Nothing closes out here. Oh, it's very smart. I love it.
Dude, Vegas is something else, man. We'll see if any of these players that they drafted end up, in the Vegas federal prison system.
They don't know how to draft. That's the funniest part. They just don't know how to draft. That's
they never do.
No.
Like, what was it, like a year or two ago? They took Leatherwood or whatever his last name was from Alabama, like 5th overall or something like that. It was crazy.
Listen,
and you see how that worked out.
I'm trying to think. Their last like good draft pick was Max, and he wasn't even in like the first round. I just think they drafted him for depth, and he just turned out being good. Because he had like a drug problem as well, or like a drinker. I don't know exactly which one it was. It was either alcohol or drugs. But he had a problem, and then he was like, all right, I'm done with this. Let me get my life together. And that's when he turned into a savage. They also drafted Josh Jacobs, but I feel like that was an obvious pick. Other than that, you go back to Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper. Like, they just don't know how to draft.
They really don't.
Honestly, they just don't know how to draft.
But some other big news that happened in the NFL was Aaron Rodgers finally got traded to the Jets. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, no, because we got to play him, but yes, because we get to see him with some crazy receivers again. God, Garrett Wilson might go for 2,000 yards, and they get Brees Hall back, and their defense is amazing. Oh my God, we got to play them in the playoffs probably. Jesus.
No,
like, it's good until I think about that.
You're talking about like how good like Garrett Wilson could be. Can you see him being Offensive Player of the Year?
The crazy part about it is yes and no, because if Aaron Rodgers has a crazy year, they're going to give it to him. Because I feel like Josh Allen's due for an MVP. I feel like he's due for an MVP, and I think he'll get it this year, simply because he hasn't had one. And he's had some crazy games and, this and that, but I think he'll get it. But then you also got Justin Jefferson, you got Jamar Chase, because a lot of receivers for him to compete against. So I think it goes quarterback, running back, then receiver, as far as like on the list of Offensive Player of the Years. Because most of the time they give it to the running back or the quarterback. And then if it's not them, it's like, all right, who had a crazy receiver year? Jetta's Cooper Kupp had a triple crown. I think he should have won MVP that year, but that's neither here nor there. So I think yes and no, because they have so many weapons. So he might not get all the love.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So it could be Brees Hall out the backfield taking, 70 yards to the house, and now Garrett Wilson only has 70 yards. Like it's going to be like that type of feel.
Yeah.
Dang.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
So should Pats fans be worried about the division?
Yeah.
I never said I wasn't worried about the division.
Yeah. Only because they most likely have the worst quarterback out of everybody. They have the best one. I would just say Belichick's the best coach in that division. I also say that. So their defense is going to be fine. It's just Mac Jones. Like, I think we've seen the best of Mac Jones. I don't think he goes any crazier than what he's done before. He might have a few games, maybe 3 or 4 games where he has like those 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 275, and they win. But then he's also going to have those 100-yard games with 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And it's just not it's not a good comparison because the Patriots don't have that number 1 receiver like the other 3 teams. You got Diggs, Waddle, Tyreek, and then you have Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. You look at the Patriots and you're like,
we got Juju.
Exactly. That's what exactly. Juju wasn't able to go stupid with the Chiefs. I think we've seen the best of Juju. The best of Juju was pre-injury, and now he's getting older.
Yeah. Our best offensive weapon is Ramondre Stevenson. I do think he's actually a dog. Yeah. He's really good. But with our weapons, it's just they're all mid wide receivers. Yeah. It's like a full set of wide receiver twos.
Yeah, literally. Literally. So that's why I don't think that. I think y'all will probably finish 4th, unfortunately. Where did y'all finish last year?
We finished
4th?
Third,
yeah. It went Bills.
Oh yeah, because y'all could have made the playoffs and the Jets choked. They were like 9-4, right? Or like 9-5.
They were like 7
or like 8
last year.
So they were 7. I remember them. I remember they had to start Zach Wilson for like 3 or 4 games, and they lost those games. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
When your quarterbacks last year with Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, and Mike White, you're lucky you got 7 wins.
Yeah, listen. Now to get Aaron Rodgers,
I know it's scary.
It looks great. It looks great on paper. It looks amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm worried about. Like, it looks so great on paper. We'll see if it translates.
Yeah.
Next season.
Yeah, we'll see. It is the Jets and the 2000s.
They're going to be good though. They're going to be good because their defense is good.
And they have Aaron Rodgers. They have to do
it. So I'm like, they're gonna. I don't know. I don't even know if I can guarantee the playoffs, honestly, because I think for sure the Bills and the Dolphins. Maybe not even the Dolphins, bro. I don't know. That's gonna be a fun division to watch. It'll be a fun division. Because hopefully, I know I hate on Tua a lot, but hopefully he's healthy enough to finish all 17. I really just want to see him play 17 because if he gets hit in the head one more time, I'm like, bro.
Call it career, bro.
Please stop. Like, I know I troll him a lot, but I'm like, honestly, I only trolled him because Dolphins fans made the comparison of him and Herbert. And I'm like, Okay.
Same draft class.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'd never compared them. But every time I would say something about Herbert, they're like, well, Tua did this. And I was like, okay. I didn't say anything about Tua. And it just kept happening. I was like, all right, bet. Go get what you want. Tua's garbage. That's it. And so now you got what you want. Tua's garbage. So now anytime, and they play week 1. So it's gonna be I'm going to that game because I missed the one last year. I'm going to that game this year.
Where's it played at?
It's in LA. I'm going to that game.
I'm rooting for the Chargers in that one.
Listen, I got my Tua jersey too. It just don't say turn the ball over on the back. I cannot wait to wear that jersey.
Oh my gosh. No, that's clean. I like that idea. But we're as far as the playoffs go, we talked a little bit about maybe the Jets not even guaranteed to make the playoffs. Who were some surprising teams that you could see sneak into the playoffs this next season?
Lions, easily. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'd be a lot of sneaky teams in the AFC because there's 12 quarterbacks, so it wouldn't be surprising. 5 of them are going to miss it. It just is what it is. Herbert, unfortunately, might be one of them because the AFC is so stacked. NFC, Lions for sure. Seahawks made it last year, so that wouldn't be a surprise. I'm thinking of let me look up teams that didn't make the playoffs. I'm not gonna say the Bears, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears snuck in. Only because their division is a little bit more balanced now. Like it's not. You don't have to they can beat anybody in that division. I didn't think they could ever beat the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers. But I think they could beat the Vikings. I think they could beat the Packers now. I think the Packers are – sorry, Jordan Love. I'm hoping you're good. I really am hoping you're good. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So that's 2 wins against them. I think they split with each other team. So that's 4-2. So that's 4-2 in the division, which is putting you already in a good position to, make the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it. Honestly, I really would.
Trubisky can do it in that division. Justin Fields can definitely step it up. I mean, he was stepping up at the end of last season.
Yeah.
And now he's going into it. Now he's got receivers.
That I was about to say, now they got receivers. They look a little bit better.
Do you think the Panthers can sneak in?
Nah.
Some people have them winning 9 games.
Actually, yeah.
I think that division
Tom Brady's not there. Yeah, Tom Brady's not there. I think the Saints will make it with Derek Carr. Let me look. So I think let's just go ahead. Let's just run down my playoff teams next year. Let's just get
let's go. Let's get
so I think obviously Niners, Eagles, Giants, Cowboys. I think those are the 4. Vikings, Lions, and I think that 7th spot is going to be Panthers or Bears. Now that I look at it, I think that 7 is going to be Panthers or Bears.
Really?
Leaning more Panthers because of their division, though. Because the Bucks aren't gonna, the Bucks aren't gonna become competition.
What about the Saints?
Or the Falcons? But I'm saying if they beat the Falcons twice and the Bucks twice, they're still 4-2 if they lose to the Saints, which is where I had the Bears. So, I don't think the Rams make it. Seahawks is that iffy team. I want Geno to be great, but also I'm wondering if that's just a one-hit wonder thing. But the running backs are really good. So
think about this too. They got JSN too, so that wide receiver core is.
Oh yeah, and they got Zach. Oh, they got 5 really good weapons on offense.
It's getting crazy.
Yeah, Seahawks could be really good. And
didn't Bobby Wagner go back to the Seahawks?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You know what? That might be the 6 or 7 team. I take back what I said about the Panthers and the Bears. So I got Seahawks, Niners, Eagles, Giants, Saints, Cowboys, Lions. That's my 7. And what order? I don't know. I don't know the order, but
yeah.
That's my 7.
I can see the Lions making it, honestly.
I honestly can too. It's just all going to depend on injury on that team.
How the Vikings do.
Because that too, and JMO comes back this year. So we hadn't seen JMO yet.
Also think about this too. The Vikings only got 9 primetime games. They only have 9 noon games. So the new nightmare is going to be struggling a little bit. That's 8 losses right there.
Kirk. Yes, that's at least 0-8, maybe 1-7. So they're gonna finish 9-8, maybe 10 wins. But I think the Lions could beat them both times, honestly. Because
they really could.
The Vikings lost Eric Kendricks.
Yeah,
and they lost to Darius Smith. So they lost a pass rusher and a linebacker. I don't know what they got in the draft, but you can never bank on draft picks being great. You just gotta hope that they're great. And the Lions got Amon-Ra and JMO, hoping JMO's good.
See if Jared Goff can do what he did last year.
Yeah, he just has to be average. That's literally just be average, and they'll make it. So yeah, I think that's my 7. Yeah, it's a solid 7.
All right, what about the AFC now?
Ooh-wee.
I think we already know Chiefs, Bengals.
Chiefs, Bengals, Bills.
Bills, yeah.
100%. Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Jaguars. My bad. Those are the 4. Those are the 4 division winners. Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Jags. Right.
Yeah.
After that, dog.
You think the Ravens get in? Just like they did last year? Healthy Lamar, now they got Odell.
Zay Flowers, too.
Zay Flowers.
That's what I'm saying. You got the Ravens. You got the Chargers. You got the Dolphins and the Jets. That's 4 teams. That's one of these teams is not going to make it. And those are like the top of the second tier, I would say. Because I'm not putting the Colts in yet, or the Texans, or the Titans. I'm not putting the Broncos in there yet, or the Browns, or the Steelers. Yeah, one of those teams not gonna make it, man. That sucks. That sucks. Oh, that sucks. Barring no injuries, obviously. Those are my teams. Now, one injury could change everything because Lamar's unfortunate injury. They were 8-3?
8, somewhere around
8-4?
that.
Somewhere in that 8-ish, 9 or whatever, and then lost and didn't make the playoffs. So
Huntley's still a Pro Bowler.
Bro, listen, I guess Herbert turned it down. I'm assuming. No, Herbert had surgery. That's what it was. He had surgery.
Josh Allen turned it down. He said he was sick, and then they called him golfing. That's the same day.
I'm not gonna lie. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing. Well, now they just have the flag game, so I would probably go now. But back then, whenever it was like full contact, I'm not doing that, bro. Ever since I saw Tyler Eifert break his ankle, I was like, yeah, I don't blame players anymore. Because Tyler Eifert was top 2, 3 tight end in the league at that point. Yeah. And broke his ankle and just fizzled out. Like
didn't hear about him again.
Literally ever. And I'm like, yeah. That would be the last time I would play in that too. I wouldn't no. But yeah, those are the teams.
All right. That's fair enough. It's going to be a great playoff next year. I can't wait. I just can't wait for football in general.
Yeah.
But the next segment we got with Vic and all of us here is way too early NFL Coach of the Year predictions. Michael, how about you start us off?
This is hard. It's going to go in the AFC, in my opinion. An AFC coach will win. And I think Kevin Stefanski could win with the Browns. I think with the full off season with Deshaun Watson, a full season with Deshaun Watson, they're still rocking a good defense with Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. They have Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Nick Chubb. I think they could put up a good run, and that'll be because Kevin Stefanski is a good coach. I think he could win it because of that team he has.
Do you see them winning the AFC North?
No, I think the Bengals are winning the North. That's the thing. I think they can come close. I think they can come in second.
Okay.
I don't think the Browns get more than like 5 wins, realistically. Because I love this. Like I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan, but I'm like almost 3 years away from football, and defenses are getting just faster and faster and more versatile. Like,
you don't think he makes it like any improvements over the offseason?
No, I think he's solid.
Stefanski's system is great,
but if you think about it, he had all this time to be working. Like he could have been still practicing, still doing this, but I mean, and he had 12 weeks, correct? He had 12 weeks because after what week was it?
He was suspended for 12 weeks.
Yeah, he came back week 12. against.
But he had all the offseason to work because he played in the preseason, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't think
he
wasn't allowed to play in the preseason.
He wasn't allowed to like.
He played it. He played one game. Remember, because he got booed against the Jaguars. I don't remember when it was.
He did,
but yeah. Let me see. Deshaun, because they were making fun of him.
Maybe it was before like the because
was it like a scrimmage?
No. It was a preseason game.
Oh,
yeah, first game since 2020. But I don't know how much time he had before that to prepare, as well as I don't know. But I just don't think
all those lawyer meetings and court hearings they take up time.
And the thing about it is, one of his best weapons is his legs. That was 4 years ago. I'm just saying, I see them finishing worse than I see them finishing honestly fourth, maybe third. Honestly,
I can see them being third. There's no way that the Steelers do better than the Browns.
No matter what, bro, the Steelers always finish 9-8. No matter what, they finish 9-8 or better. I don't know how they do it. So they have to get 9 wins.
Tomlin did.
I'm saying, so they have to get 9 wins. I don't see them getting 9 wins.
All right. Now, who do you see being your way too early NFL Coach of the Year?
It has to be. So I think voter fatigue takes too much. Like, it takes up too much when it comes to like voting for Coach of the Year. Because guys like Andy Reid won't win it because they're expecting that now. Same thing with like the Niners coach Shanahan. They're expecting them to be good. So even if they go 13-4, 14-3, they're like, oh yeah, we knew you were gonna do that. Same thing with the Eagles. So I'm gonna say, honestly, I think Doug Peterson. Honestly,
yeah, I could see that actually.
I think Doug Peterson, because because last year they didn't sneak into the playoffs, but it came down to the last week or two, right?
What was the last game?
The last game. So yeah, last game. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Last game. And then they won, so they were in. So if they win like 12 games, 12-5, I'm just saying, like that's
yeah, I didn't even think of Doug Peterson.
So I thought about Doug Peterson, and the reason I didn't have him is because they were 9-8 last year, and you're saying maybe 12 games. I don't see them winning 12 games. I could see them winning 9 again, maybe 10 or 11. 11's pushing it, in my opinion.
They're swooping that division. They're swooping. That's 6. That's 6 wins there easily.
Dude, you never know with the AFC South, because even the Titans can have like a miracle win.
Derrick Henry can run all 200 yards on it.
Exactly. The Jaguars historically suck against the Titans. Derrick Henry owns the Jaguars when it comes to rushing yards. So who knows? But I can tell you mine, and I know I kind of agree with you guys. It probably will be in the AFC. I got 3 guys that are off the top of my head. One of them being Frank Reich. If he is, if he does get that team 9 wins like we're talking about, he will win it, in my opinion. Also, Rob Saleh on the Jets. I think that a lot of people are going to be watching the Jets, and if they go into the playoffs, it'll be crazy. Last year they had 7-10. If they win 10 or 12 wins this season and then also go to the playoffs, then Rob Saleh could be that guy. And the last guy that I have, who I think will win the NFL Coach of the Year award next year, is Sean Payton. And I'm going to explain exactly why. He hasn't coached in a while, but if he gets 9 wins, even 9 wins with this team, he will win this award. I mean, look at Brian Dable, who just won last year. What did they have, like 10 wins last season? Russell Wilson is obviously lacking like an offensive-minded coach, and that's exactly who Sean Payton is. And last season, Nathaniel Hackett, he absolutely just was disgusting. Like, I feel bad for anybody that was a Broncos fan, and you obviously were eating that up being a Chargers fan, I'm sure.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And like Sean Payton, he's great at working with quarterbacks. He's been that way his entire career. He was an offensive coordinator with the Giants. He also was a quarterbacks coach for the Cowboys for a little bit. So I think he's going to figure out what was wrong with Russell Wilson and get him over that hump. Honestly, he also knows the right personnel to bring in. That's a huge thing for a coaching staff to be good for a team. Also, the last 3 coaches that the Broncos brought in had 0 career wins as a head coach. Sean Payton's coming in with the 23rd most wins out of any head coach in all time. So he comes with a winning mindset. Also, the Saints' all-time playoff record before Peyton was 1-5, and after Sean Payton, it was 9-8. So I think that is very likely Sean Payton as my way too early like NFL Coach of the Year. I think it could be any of the three guys that I have. I'm not disagreeing with any of you guys though. Like Stefanski could be. I don't see it. And Doug Peterson, I feel like if he was going to win Coach of the Year, it would have been last year, and that's what he came second. So
no, didn't DeBoer win it?
Yeah.
He turned him around completely. Like he like that was a complete turnaround. I think the Jags won like 5 or 6 games. So to go from like 6 to barely making it in isn't that impressive as the Giants going from 5 to like was it 10, 11 wins? Like that's a big jump.
9 or 10.
And I think that's the same for the Jags to go from, fighting for the division to completely demanding and winning the division by week 14, 15.
If they get 12 wins, then yeah, I could see it as a possibility.
Because like Trevor Lawrence they get Calvin Ridley. We haven't seen them with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, they do have Calvin Ridley.
Hopefully
Travis Etienne is going to be fully healthy. He's still going to place him. It's just not going to be in his name. That was dumb. That was so dumb. I know NFL players that do it and they just don't put it in their name. I'm like, that was so stupid. That was so stupid.
Well, he'll be back and we'll see how good he does.
Yes, sir.
Whether you want to head into NBA now?
Yeah, you ready, Vic? Let's talk some NBA, man.
Oh, boy.
Let's talk some NBA. So this is the Around the League segment, NBA playoffs and news, and also in parentheses on my script, the Wemby draft sweepstakes happened last night. We record these on Wednesdays, so happened last night for us. And I want to go over the NBA draft order from the lottery. So 14 picks down and just kind of get your guys' thoughts. At the 14th pick, New Orleans Pelicans, 13th, Toronto Raptors, 12th, Thunder, 11th, Orlando Magic. They got that in their trade with Vucevic, actually, so very nice for them. 10th, they got Dallas Mavericks. 9th, Utah Jazz. 8th, Washington Wizards. 7th, Indiana Pacers. 6th, Orlando Magic. They got 2 top 15 picks. Very nice. 5th was the Detroit Pistons. They slipped from having the best. They were tied for there was three-way tie for the best odds, and they got 5th.
That's all right. You can't tell me that the lottery isn't rigged. Like you just can't tell me, dude. Like all of a sudden, Wemby has all these pictures in Spurs uniforms and Spurs jerseys, and I've always want to play for the Spurs, and I'm like, okay, at least give the Pistons a top 3 chance. Like 5 is crazy.
Yeah,
and the Spurs just. Oh yeah, just number 1 pick. All of a sudden, Wemby
all right. So
I never agree with that. I never agree with the whole lottery thing.
Yeah, I don't really like the lottery.
No, just the worst team, like the NFL. Worst team gets it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a way of rigging it to get some good franchises back, just like the NHL rigged theirs. But 4th, we got the Houston Rockets. Wemby was celebrating whenever they got that 4th pick. I don't know if you guys saw that. 3rd, Portland Trailblazers, which is very convenient for a struggling Damian Lillard team who needs a second guy. We'll see who they get. There's a lot of talks about maybe Scoot Henderson falling to 3rd, so that'd be actually tremendous for the Trailblazers.
I think they should trade it. I want them to try to get like a wing, like a Pascal Siakam, a OG, somebody that's already in the league. Get you a nice wing that's lengthy.
Pascal would be nice for them.
Listen, Pascal would be beautiful for Portland. He don't have to travel far either because Canada's right there.
Sure.
I'm just saying. If I predict it, then I'll take a little credit.
And then the 2nd pick, I feel like they always get the 2nd pick. The Charlotte Hornets, yeah. Second pick.
Every year, bro. Like that's my secondary team. So like I love to see I think his name is Brandon Miller, right? From Bama?
Yeah, from Bama, yeah.
He's a bucket.
Oh, yeah.
He's a bucket. And I'm like, now I can watch the Hornets games again. Because him and LaMelo would be really good. I just hope he doesn't go out there and do what Miles Bridges did. Because that guy, Miles Bridges, knows how to fumble a bag close to John Morant.
I wanted to talk about that after this.
Yeah. And okay, so before we get into all that, Yeah, the Hornets. And you also were talking about, maybe the Portland Trailblazers getting it big. With them having the 3rd overall pick, Jarris Walker is still there. I think that's the last name.
I think it's just trade it and get a proven NFL proven NBA like player, because like NBA drafts are either like really good or really bad. Like it's just
it always is like the first 10, like at least these past few years, it's always been like the first 10 are impactful, and then you get to pick like 58 and you're like, okay,
even then
we'll see you in the G League, Ben.
Out of that 10, only 3 of them end up like doing good of any magnitude. Because I was watching, you know how those videos pop up when it's like the 7 guards or whatever that were taken before, let's say Devin Booker, right? And all these guys are like, I just had a brain fart. Anyways, all these guys are like good in high school, good in college, or great. They're great in high school. They're great-ish, they're goodish in college, and then they get drafted number like 4, and they end up just fizzling out. I'm like, I'd rather just trade. Like I'm a big advocate in trading picks for players. I'll do that every time if I could, no matter the sport. If they're already in the league, they know how it works. But I mean, I get it because you get a young face. So it's like, some instances it makes sense, like LaMelo, Zion, even like Brandon Ingram, the Jason Tatum's, like it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But like, you also got like Johnny Flynn's. It's just like,
haven't heard that.
Bro, he was taking 1 pick before Curry, and I'm just like, so I would just trade picks for players. But I mean, if you get lucky and you get a Curry, then like obviously you're happy.
Yeah,
but
exactly. And the first overall pick, we've already mentioned it, will be the San Antonio Spurs. And I'm with you guys on this. Last night, 30 minutes before, or no, it's 20 minutes before they revealed the pick, I texted Michael and I said, I feel like the Spurs are going to get it. And this was before seeing anything about like Wemby wanting to be on the Spurs and all that stuff. I was thinking, who they draft whenever they had the first overall pick? Tim Duncan. Who was the other first overall pick they had? David Robinson. They need that guy. They've been struggling the past 2-3 years, and Greg Popovich is about to call it quits, and he needs one more of those generational talent players, which they've been calling him, which I want to ask about that in a second. They need that guy, and they did it. So it could be rigged. I don't know. Probably is. But do you guys think that Wemby is a generational talent, as they are calling him? They're comparing him to LeBron, stuff like that.
I think he's I think his like stature is generational. Like I just I don't know, because even whenever Giannis got into the league, like he just reminds me more of Giannis than LeBron, because they're both 7-footish. I mean, he's 7'5", so it's a little bit different. But he's lanky. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can do everything. And even Giannis had to put on a lot of muscle to like bang with all the big guys. And like I don't see Wemby as just being a spot up 7'5" shooter. Like it's just that just doesn't make sense. So I think he has to get in the league and bulk up, which could also affect his jump shot, which could also affect his that's like generational talent. I guess technically yes, but I still think LeBron was a better talent coming out of high school.
Yeah,
like it's not even close. Like and LeBron actually lived up to it, if not superseded it by miles. Like we knew he was gonna be great, but GOAT talk, I don't think anybody saw LeBron as GOAT talk. Yeah. We saw him as greatness, Hall of Famer, this and that, but GOAT talk, I don't see it coming. Yeah.
And with Wemby, like I feel like I'm not going to come on this podcast and be like, oh, he's going to be a bust and all this stuff. But I do feel like his first few years, he's going to struggle with injuries. Like he's going to be one of those guys that comes out. He's already making an immediate impact on the Spurs. Obviously, who else do they have to make that impact? And then he's going to get injured. And it could be one of those things and that comes with his stature too.
Yep.
Tall and lengthy and skinny.
Chet
Holmgren. Exactly. He's Chet Holmgren with a jumper basically. And
Kristaps didn't Kristaps get hurt early? Like it's just
Pretty sure he did early in his career.
Like, it's just when you're really tall, your knees can only take so much. Like, and you think of the small guys, the PJ Tuckers, the Draymond Greens, the Grant Williamses that play bigger than what they are because they're more physical. And all you gotta do is put an elbow in your back, and it's just like, damn, Wemby, like you got to get some sort of meat and muscle so you can take these hits. Because there's not going to be a guard guarding you. There's going to be a big man like Robert Williams, Jokic. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jokic is going to get his man to business. Like Jokic might drop 55, 25, and 13 on this dude's head. Like it's just. I watched Jokic yesterday, and I was just like, I know this is off subject, but I'm like, how did he not win MVP for a third straight time? I get it, voter fatigue, whatever, and beat out a crazy dude.
I think a lot of people were just worried that like if he won 3 straight, he'd already be in like some sort of GOAT talks. Like, I mean, Larry Bird won 3.
He's up there for big men. He's up there for big men. I don't. It might be early. It might be pre. I don't care. He's up there for big men. Of the most talented big men, he's up there. You could now. Shaq was the most dominant, but he wasn't like the most. He was just physically just gifted to be stronger than any and everybody. Yeah. All he could do was dunk and move you out the way. Jokic can do that and shoot threes and pass the ball and get like it's just dude
and make free throws. Shaq. Hey, but that's the thing. Yeah. Like Vic, we were getting some hate from people. We were saying that we didn't even say that Jokic was a top like 5 or top 7 now. We just said that like he needs to get a ring and then he could be there.
So we said he could be a top 5. In the future.
I think he's talking about center or player?
Center.
Can you name 7 better?
Thank you. That's what we're trying to say. Like,
okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's put this out. Let's put this out there. The late great Bill Russell, I love him, but you're not playing center at 6'9" right now. Like it's just he was great for that time, so I guess we have to honor him in. But Jokic is way more physically talented, and way more sound. It's just Bill Russell has the rings. So I guess you just have to like grandfather him in because rings matter way more in basketball. So I guess you go Bill Russell, Wilt. Would you put Tim Duncan as a center? I know he's a power forward.
I put him as power forward.
Okay, so then you got those. You got Shaq. Hakeem.
Wilt Chamberlain.
He already said.
I said Wilt number 2.
Kareem.
Kareem. Yeah, so that's 5.
And
we're forgetting some people, but like,
and he's only 27 right now.
Exactly. He probably has another 7 years because and it's so funny because he looks so out of shape. But he's the only one that's not huffing and puffing. He's just like, oh yeah.
He seems fine at the end of the game. He's just like,
oh yeah. That's it. I'm like, this dude doesn't get tired, and it helps he plays in Denver, so he plays in the worst altitude of the entire league. So he's way more like it. Yeah, I would say he's top 7. I got his argument. The same thing with Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is the best point guard of all time. You got your Magic Johnsons. I get that. But Steph Curry literally changed an entire game.
Yeah.
By just making ridiculous shots that nobody else would take. But that's for another conversation. But I think Jokic, I think it wouldn't be dumb to put him in the top 7. That's what's now 5. That's when it gets a little tight because you got to respect the Bill Russells and the Wilts and the Kareems and the Hakeems and
guys who got rings.
Yeah. Now if he goes and gets him some rings, a couple more. Now he's in that top 4. Now he's in the top 3. Then he just keeps going up. So I think 7 or 8 is comfortable because you still got Shaq. So yeah, I think it's like 7 or 8. 7 or 8 is respectable.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could put David Robinson.
Nah, I'm sorry. Nah.
Really?
I'm taking Jokic over Robinson.
Okay.
Easily. Jokic stretches the floor, and he's also a mini point guard. Or not a mini point guard, but he can still play point. Like, he can dribble the ball up the court. No, I'm taking Jokic over.
Well, speaking of Jokic and just the Nuggets in general, let's talk about last night's playoff game.
I don't want to talk about it.
The Nuggets took game 1 against the Lakers. And the Lakers were on a little bit of a comeback there at the end. I mean, the first 2 quarters, I watched this whole game. First 2 quarters, Lakers were sleeping. I think that they forgot that there was some quarters going on. They were sluggish on defense, couldn't grab a rebound to save their lives, and they eventually woke up.
It's the altitude, man. That's what Denver has an advantage of just naturally. That's why it's always tough to play against the Broncos. Like it's that altitude will make you half as tired as what you will make you, I guess, more tired than what you really are, because in your head you breathing harder. It's like, God, bro, like, like have you guys ever ran with the like an altitude mask on?
No.
I have one downstairs, bro. It trains you to like control your breathing. It's weird. So like whenever you run, let's say you run a mile with it on, it really feels like you're running like a mile and a half, 2 miles. So whenever you take it off, you can run a mile and you're like, okay, might as well just run 2. Okay, might as well just run 3. And like, so I think the altitude helps him, but also LeBron shot that 3, and I'm like, bro, why are you doing this? Jamal Murray has 5 fouls. You literally went to the basket 3 straight times, and you either got an and one or a layup. Why are you shooting this 3, bro? It's a whole minute left. So,
well, Anthony Davis had a good game though. 40 points.
That's the problem. You know, AD is gonna put up a stinker at least once. At least once he's gonna put up a stinker of 12, 10, and 4. Maybe he won't though. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. But
maybe he'll. You know, you never know with AD, man.
Yeah,
maybe he'll step on a bug and be out for the rest of the playoffs.
I hope not. That would suck.
Maybe the ball hit his head and he had to leave in a wheelchair.
That was wild. Like I can't say much because I wasn't there. I don't know how bad the injury was, but dude, even NBA on TNT, like Shaq and Chuck, they were all clowning him, bro. I was shocked to hear them clown, like the way they're clowning him.
They were dying laughing on the stuff.
Listen, that was hilarious. that was hilarious.
But game 1 for the Eastern Conference is tonight. Heat Celtics. Who do you think is winning this one?
I think the Heat will get it. I think the Heat will get 1. I think honestly the Heat in like 6. I think the Heat in 6. I think it'll go Heat, Celtics, Heat, Celtics, Heat. Realistically. It's just I don't believe in the Celtics this year, man. I feel like they peaked last year. Now they could prove me wrong 100%. But I think they peaked last year. And then, you know, Jimmy Buckets in the playoffs is
something different.
So that's the guy. That's the guy that gives you 45, 7, and 7. Still got Bam. Is Tyler Hero coming back or no?
No, he's out for the whole playoffs.
Oh man, that sucks. But they've done it without him so far. Caleb, what's his last name? Not the
Caleb? Is it
Gabe Vincent? I'm sorry, Gabe Vincent.
Oh,
Gabe Vincent has been playing really big, like really big. So if he continues that, he had to go against Marcus Smart though, which is a little bit different. But if Gabe Vincent can at least give him, you know, a solid 10 to 15, you still got Caleb Martin off the bench, gives you a solid 8, 9. Bam, it gives you a nice double-double. Jimmy does what he does. They should be good. They should be pretty good. But also, if the Celtics get hot, they're a problem. So it's just, I got the Heat in 6, just like I have the Lakers in 6. So I might be wrong on both. But a Nuggets Celtics, but it's an ugly finals. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd kind of be for it. Like that'd be something.
It would be the most talented teams, regardless. Yeah, like regardless, it'd be the most talented. The 2 most talented teams left. It will be probably the most entertaining. But as far as just like face value and name, it would be good to have the Lakers and Heat go at it like it was in the bubble again.
Or I think the script writers are getting it ready
for
Lakers Celtics. Yeah. They're trying to get that going again, man.
For the most rings.
Yeah, that would be. I think it might be one of the most watched finals in a long.
Oh, easily.
It's the biggest rivalry in basketball
with LeBron playing.
That would be the biggest. That would easily be the biggest. And he beat Curry on the way here, and he beat Jokic on the way there, and he beat Ja Morant. Like that would be a crazy doc. Like if they dropped the doc, that'd be a crazy document. And his son committed to a bat. Like that would be a crazy, crazy, crazy year for LeBron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Script writers make it
So happen. What would you say to anybody who has the Boston Celtics winning the finals?
What would you say to anybody who has the Boston Celtics winning the finals?
What would you say to anybody who has the Boston Celtics winning the finals?
I think
Scrap it. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
It'll happen, I believe.
No. I'm not gonna. If Jason Tatum gives you that 30, 40 like he did last game, oh yeah, y'all are unbeatable. You're unbeatable. If Jason gives you 30
point game we need,
bro, because JB is gonna give you 20, a solid 20, like night and night. I give you a solid 20, and then you also got Marcus Smart who can play up or down. You also have Brogdon who can play up and down. Same thing with Derek White. Like they could either play really good or really bad. Robert Williams, really good, really bad. But if you get all of them to play just average, and then you got JT going for 30, 35, JB giving you 25.
Al Horford getting some blocks on the court.
Like they're definitely they're probably the most stacked team left, I would say. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the Lakers look good on like paper, but it's the older LeBron. So it doesn't look it looks good, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are solid. The Nuggets are pretty deep because I got MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Kentavious, Jokic, and Murray, as well as Bruce Brown. Yeah. I mean, that would be the most talented finals, Nuggets and Celtics. That'll probably go 7 games. That would go 7 games, I think.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think if that does happen, you got to root for the Nuggets. You got to root for Jokic to get a ring.
Sorry, I'm not. I'm not rooting for anyone over the Celtics. That's great.
Wow.
But the last thing I wanted to ask you about is Ja Morant. And,
God, Ja Wick, bro, fumble in the bag 101. If there was a course, it would be him in a chair with a book in his hand. Like it would just. I've never seen somebody not care so much about what they worked hard for than him.
Yeah.
Like, bro. I mean, there's probably somebody out there, but this is recency bias. And it's just like, I get it. You're in the NBA. It's legal to have guns. It's very legal in a lot of states. I understand it. Protect yourself. But you also have to protect this image that's been made for you, and you know it because you're in the NBA. There's nothing you can do about it. You're marketed to little kids. You have no control over it, but it's what you worked hard for. It's what you signed up for. Like if I was an NBA player, I probably wouldn't post me going anywhere other than to the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, I would still post things of my life, like, where I'm going, traveling, this and that. But there are certain parts of your life that you just can't, just because social media is the way it is, they're going to run with it. And they're going to make narratives and they're going to make think pieces and they're going to make articles and they're going to make reaction videos and they're going to do this. And it's just like, it's never that deep. It's really not. That's why social media is the biggest gift and the biggest curse. Because when it does good, it gets looked at, but it's not the big thing. When you do bad, it's over everything, on every website, on every blog, on everything. People literally wait for you to mess up. So why even give them a chance to do that? You know you got your gun. We know you got your gun. We know you're protecting yourself. We know you got all these. We know what you got. I'm pretty sure every NBA player, every NFL player, every athlete, not every athlete, I would say like probably 85 to 90% of athletes carry weapons. It's not stupid. It's smart.
Yeah.
They don't show it. They just don't show it.
I think like Gilbert Arenas pulled out one in like a locker room.
That's what I'm saying. Like Plexico Burr shot himself in an accident. Like I'm sure 85 to 90% of NBA, NFL, ML, whatever, they have weapons. They may not carry them all the time, but I'm sure they have them in their homes.
They definitely have them in their house.
Like that's what I'm like. But the average smart person should know that. But you don't have to go around flashing it, bro. Like we get it.
He tried to outdo his friend. We had to outdo him.
That's what I'm like, bro. Like if you do that, go to the gun range. That way you have a reason to.
Yeah.
Like go to the gun range
down
and like practice. Yeah, like go practice. Just be like, I learned the responsibility of gun care, and then you can post a picture with it. And now it's not looking as bad. But you're just chilling in the car. You just, you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. It's not. Listen.
So how do you feel about some people like already jersey swapping him to the Chicago Bulls?
No, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think if something happens, it'll be from the NBA. But the Grizzlies aren't letting him go. Like, no. He's your franchise. He is literally the face of I thought he was going to be the face of the league within 2 years until the last, few months. I feel like he was easily on his way to being the face. Like super athletic, dunks on people, shoots, point guard, which is something everybody wants to be.
Not super hated.
And not super hated. The good kid, like this is what it would look like. And then he just got put in some bad spots, man. And then also his family isn't helping because they're asking him to do the dirty work. And I'm like, you don't call the top guy that's bringing in everything for the family to do the dirty work. You don't do that. You don't risk the big picture for these little arguments. And like it was like one at the high school and then one at the Foot Locker or whatever. I'm like, you don't call him. You call the guys under him. You let them do the dirty work. And then Josh just like, oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, okay. Even though he knows what happened, you just be like, oh, no, that's next question. But when you put yourself there, you pretty much self-incriminate yourself. Everybody knows what you look like, especially in basketball. Football, you can kind of pull it off because you wear a helmet. It's a little bit tougher. But basketball? So he just has to be smarter, man. You can't put yourself in these situations to look like the villain. Maybe he wants to be a villain. I don't know. I don't know. But from now outside looking in, you can't put yourself in positions to look like a villain and look like this tough guy and look like this thug. I'm like, bro, a lot of thugs don't want to be thugs. They just have to be. People don't realize that. People don't want to sell drugs because it's fun. That's just how they have to make money. Like it's just like the same thing with women don't want to be, selling their bodies. Some people do it for fun. Most people don't do it for fun. They do it so they can pay for things. People don't want to live it. So for him to put himself in that situation to look like that on purpose, I'm like,
yeah,
wasn't smart.
Yeah,
wasn't the smartest. So,
yeah, coming from a Grizzlies fan, it's sad. What I don't even want to talk. I really don't even want to talk about it any more than we already have. I just like hearing what Vic has to say. That's about it.
He's just because he was the next man up. Because Curry's Curry's not gonna just retire, but Curry's gonna start taking that back seat and slowly still putting up the same threes, but not as much as the competitive Curry from 2014, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
So I was like, Jaws. Who else other than Ja? Maybe Jason Tatum, but I was like, nah. Ja's that guy. And they finished second this year. Well, they would have finished first if he didn't get suspended, but he kind of messed that up. So I guess now I don't even know who the face of the NBA would be right now. I guess
it still is LeBron. It's like he still is a face, but in the future,
you could say Giannis.
I was thinking Giannis. But they did get bounced this year, so he's not on the fate, he's not on the TV anymore. So that's why I was like, it might have been when you look back at it the entire year, because Giannis missed a lot of games in the end too. I think it would be LeBron this year. Yeah, it would be LeBron. Yeah, because they started off 2-10. They had the trades. They had their Westbrooks. Yeah, it'd be LeBron.
Yeah, I think as long as LeBron's in the league, it will be LeBron, and then everybody else is kind of under it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't know. But I think that's going to do it with our time with you today, Vic. We talked a lot of good stuff, man. We love having you on. You bring the energy, you bring the good sports takes.
Listen,
that's what this show needs. But yeah, man, we can't appreciate you enough for coming on today, and we hope to see you in the future. For sure.
Oh yeah, listen. We should do one in person one of these days. Whenever you're out here, we'll talk later. About all that stuff. Because it's fun. I'll just sit here and talk for hours. And then I look down at the clock and I'm like, wow. I was supposed to get this done today. Okay.
Maybe you should take a break from podcasts. I don't know.
Listen, I might start one. I don't know.
You should. You should.
We'll see.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. So we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you start.
that's going to do it for our time with Vic. We loved having him on. Every time he comes on, he brings the energy. He brings everything that we love about Against the Call. And, you're going to be seeing more of Vic. We're going to be planning to do things with him in the future, as well as him just coming back on the show. Maybe some IRL content. Who knows? But let's just jump right into the post game. We've been doing great lately. The clips have been coming out a lot. And as promised, I said, as soon as school ends, we'll be getting the clips out there. And that's what we've been doing. You can maybe even expect 3 clips in a day in the future. That's just the kind of content that we're going to be trying to bring to you guys over the summer, getting those numbers up. We've actually gained over 15 followers in one day on TikTok, which is pretty good for us because TikTok has been pretty brutal towards.
They do not like Against the Call. They just don't like our takes.
We're shadow banned or something on TikTok, man. I don't know what it is, but
until Nick starts talking about Caleb Williams,
and then everybody loves to talk about that in the comments, which we will be addressing a lot of things that are said in the clips like later on. As far as the Caleb Williams thing goes, I don't even think I should revisit that until college football. Like,
we'll talk about that then.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that might be made out of clips, but we're not even gonna revisit it until later on. Yeah. And a lot of the clips are clips for a reason. They're to get you riled up, as some might say.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Exactly. Check out Riled Up. They're an On a Pocket Sports podcast. But other than that, do you have anything else for the post game?
Just make sure you use our code ATC on SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase, along with use our code Against the Call in all caps for 10% off your next purchase at www.w.gg and buy our merch, please.
Begging you, even though it's going off the shelves.
It is we only have 2 more.
We're really just trying to get rid of the 2 other shirts that we have.
It'd be nice, but anyways.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Against the Call. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you on our next episode.